This video has words starting with AR. The word arrest, AREST, and arrest in British, R sound in American and A sound in British. It is a stoppage or sudden cessation of motion, a respiratory arrest. It is an action of seizing someone and taking them into custody. I have a warrant for your arrest, or it is attract the attention of someone. The church has stillness. The church stillness arrested her. Or it's a seizing someone by legal authority and taking them into custody. The police arrested him for the possession of marijuana. Seize and detain a ship by legal authority. They arrested a vessel with tons of salmon on board. Stop or check progress or a process. The spread of the disease can be arrested. Or it is stoppage. He suffered a cardiac arrest. Here it is suffering a heart attack. Okay, they were trying to resuscitate a patient who had arrested. Resuscitate is reviving a person who is unconscious back to life. The next word is arrival. Arrival in both the accents. A person who has arrived somewhere. Hotel staffs greeted the late arrivals. Action or process of arriving. Roots, arrival in New York. Baby arrival, which means a birth or origin or newly emerged development or product. Sociology is a relatively new arrival of the academic scene. Arrivals of a baby he be born. He will feel jealous when a new baby arrives, and of a new development or product come into existence or use. Microcomputers arrived at the start of 1970s. Of a thing be brought or delivered. The invitation arrived a few days earlier. Of an event or a particular moment happen or come. We will be in touch with them when the time arrives. Or informally, it is achieving success or recognition. He still has to pinch himself to be sure he really has arrived, kind of to that status. He arrived at the same conclusion. Reach a conclusion or decision. This word is Ariviste. Ariviste. Ariviste sounds like a Ariwali person, and Ariviste in English is also an ambitious or ruthlessly self-seeking person. Not Ariwali, a parvenu or a new rich can be called as Ariviste. Upstart or as a social status seeker can be called as Ariviste. All this time I was saying arrogant and abrogate. They were British pronunciation. In American it is arrogant and abrogate. Arrogant and abrogate. So from now on I'm going to use as arrogant and abrogate. Arrogant is having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. He is arrogant and opinionated, and it is a quality of being arrogant. The arrogance of this man is astounding. There is another word called abrogate, is take or claim something without justification. They arrogate to themselves the ability to divine the nature's true interests. Here, arrogate means hijack or steal. The church arrogated to itself the power to create kings, which means it assume or take on or take possession of. The word abrogate is also to abolish by authority, and arrogate is to obtain, to assume or claim with authority, or you are arrogating another's property. To assume or claim as one's own, proudly or presumptuously. And this word arrow is also British, and I have been using arrow, and it is arrow in American. The arrow is nothing but a mark or sign resembling an arrow used to show direction or position. We followed a series of arrows. When I say lights arrowed down into the airport, which means move or appear to move swiftly and directly. It's like a pointer, and it's also a weapon consisting of a thin straight stick with a sharp point designed to be shot from a bow. I've never used a bow and arrow. The next word, arroyo. Arroyo in both the accents, which means a steep-sided gully, G-U-L-L-Y, formed by the action of fast-flowing water in an arid or semi-arid region found chiefly in the southwestern US. It would be looking something like this. Arroyo. There are arroyos seen in New Mexico, Arizona, and many parts of US. The word ARSE is ass in British and ass in American. It sounds like ASS, but it is ARSE, which means in British it's vulgar slang for a person's buttocks or anus, or a stupid, irritating, or contemptible person. You know what is a contempt? Contempt is the feeling that a person or a thing is worthless or beneath consideration. Pam stared at the girl with a total contempt. So contemptible person is like worthless, because the action displays an arrogant contempt for the wishes of the majority, which means your contempt is disregard for something that should be considered. And the offense of being disobedient or disrespectful to a court or court of law and its officers is also called as contempts. It's in plural now. When he was found to have lied to the house, this was a contempt of court. So basically the spelling ARSE is pronounced as ass in American English, which means either no head, which means a foolish person, or something in the butt, which is like the buttocks. So there's something called smart ass, which means irritatingly clever. I'm sick of this smart ass comment. ARSE is a slang from someone's buttocks, different than ASS, which is a slang for donkey. Its usage is normally reserved for someone who is viewed as unintelligent or unpleasant. It can also be used in a more jovial manner among friends and finally exclaiming ARSE is common if someone is angry or surprised. There is a word called tight arse, ARSE, which is called as tight ass, which is informal to say a person who spends as little money as possible, a miser. He is notoriously tight ass and is always very hesitant about coughing up for anything. Tight ass is also an inhabited, repressed, or excessively conventional person. You are the most buttoned up tight ass that I have ever met. The next word is arsenal in American and arsenal are silent in British, which is nothing but armory. It is either a collection of weapons and military equipments. For example, when you say Britain's nuclear arsenal, or it is a place where weapons and military equipments are stored and or made. The armory or the arms depot ordnance is also called the arsenal. The array of resources available for a certain purpose. We have an arsenal of computers at our disposal. So other than the military purpose, it's any array or assortment or collection, basically a beautiful arrangement. There is an arsenal of penalties for insider trading. Here, trading. Punishment is also have a arrangement. The next word is arson in American and arson are silent in British, which means the criminal act of deliberately setting fire to property. The police are treating the fire as arson. Okay, so basically it is fire bombing or fire racing. The fire is being treated as arson. The word arson is related to pyromania.
Pyromania. Pyromania. Pyromania. Pyromania.
So pyromania is an obsessive desire to set fire to things, and pyromaniac is a person who has an uncontrollable impulse to start fires. Next word is art in British, in American, and R silent, art in British, which means a skill at doing a specified thing, typically one acquired through practice, the art of conversation. It is believed that the arts and science were incompatible. It's basically a capability, a mastery, artistry, an expertness, skillfulness. There is something called contemporary, which means living or occurring at the same time. The event was recorded by a contemporary historian belonging to or occurring in the present. The tension and complexities of our contemporary society. A person or thing living or existing at the same time as another. He was a contemporary of Darwin, because there are something called contemporary art, which means the art that is trending for these days. College of Arts and Science, in contrast, an art school or college of arts usually refers to a unit or institution which cultivates visual or performing arts, while the phrase liberal arts college usually refers to standalone institution. She is good at art means creative activity resulting in the production of paintings, drawings, or sculpture. He studied art means artwork, creative activity, fine art. Fine art is creative art, especially visual art, whose products are to be appreciated primarily or solely for their imaginative, aesthetic, or intellectual content. The convergence of popular culture and fine art. An activity requiring great skill or accomplishment, the fine art of drinking tequila. Subjects of study primarily concerned with human creativity and social life, such as language, literature, and history, as contrasted with scientific or technical subjects. Its various branches of creative activity, such as painting, music, literature, and dance, the visual arts. Also, it's a work produced by human creative skill and imagination, his collection of modern art. Artery is American, and artery, R silent, is British. It is related to two sense of meaning. One is body related and the next is road related. Artery. Any of the muscular walled tubes forming part of the circulation system by which blood flows is called the artery. Mainly that which has been oxygenated is conveyed from the heart to all parts of the body is the artery. Pulmonary artery. The arteries are the blood vessels that deliver oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the tissues of the body. Each artery is a muscular tube lined by smooth tissue and has 3 layers. Artery in road is an important route in a system of roads, rivers, or railway lines. George Street, main artery of Edinburgh's Golden Mile, which means the main or trunk route, a main road, highway. All the arteries taking people out of town are busy. Artful in American and R silent, artful in British. It has got 2 meanings. One is artistic related, showing creative skill or taste. An artful photograph of a striking woman. Okay, artful life is one that's filled with art. It's filled with art. You consume art, you create an art that touches hearts. It isn't about the accumulating fans, followers, or other artificial ways to quantify the value of your life. The photographer's artful shot showed a new side of the Great Wall. The food isn't as artful as the paintings, but we are enjoying several creative dishes. Decorating the room with an artful display will make the gallery appear more creative. So it is all related to the artistic meaning. The next sense of meaning is tricky related. How can an artful relate to the tricky? Because artful also means clever or skillful, especially in a crafty or cunning way. Her artful wiles, wiles, which means a sly, cunning, devious, sneaky, all are considered as artful. Can you believe it? Arthralgia. In British it is R silent, arthralgia. Arthralgia is a pain in a joint. It's in medicine. Causes of arthralgia is arthritis, exercise, infection, allergic reaction, bone cancer, broken bone, gout, lupus, GOUT, or LUPUS. I don't know what are they. Basically, arthralgia is a joint pain. It could be the joint from your spine, knee, hip, hand, or foot. This word is arthritis, and R is silent. Arthritis. Arthritis. Arthritis is a disease causing painful inflammation and stiffness of the joints. Other symptoms may include the redness, warmth, swelling, and decreased range of motion of the affected joints. In some types of arthritis, the other organs are also affected. Onset can be gradual or sudden. There are over 100 types of arthritis. This word is arthropod in American and R silent, arthropod. It is POD, but Americans drop the jaw and extend the mouth, like stretch the mouth as arthropod in American, and R is silent, arthropod, POD, pod in British. Arthropods are nothing but an invertebrate animal of the large phylum Arthropoda, such as an insect, spider, or crustacean. It's nothing but the spiders. Arthropoda is a large phylum of invertebrate. Nothing but it includes bees, mosquitoes, spiders, crabs, mites, termites, centipedes, crabs. Arthropods make up the largest phylum of animals. 3 out of every 4 animals are arthropods. The largest group of arthropods are the insects, which are rare in the sea, and the overwhelming majority of arthropods in the ocean are crustaceans. Shrimp, lobster, crabs, copepods, barnacles comes under this category of crustaceans. It is not crustacean, it is
crustacean.
Crustacean. Crustacean, which is nothing but an arthropod of the large, mainly aquatic group Crustacea, such as crab, lobster, shrimp, or barnacle. This word is artichoke, and R is silent, artichoke in British. Artichoke. Artichoke, no, artichoke. They are also called as Jerusalem artichokes or global artichokes, because artichokes are Eurasian plant resembling a thistle, cultivated for its large flower heads. In British, it is a short for Jerusalem artichoke. European plant cultivated for its large thistle-like flower heads. Unopened flower head of the artichoke, of which the heart and the fleshy bases of the bracts are edible. It just looks something like this. Jerusalem artichoke is a nobly edible tuber with white flesh, eaten as a vegetable. The tall North American plant closely related to the sunflower, which produces this tuber. It's a thistle-like flower heads, whereas thistle is a widely distributed herbaceous plant of the daisy family, which typically has a prickly stem and the leaves and rounded heads of purple flowers. A thistle as a Scottish national emblem. I would pronounce this as article, but this is order, the article, th, article in American, and R silent, article in British. When I say small household articles, it's a particular item or object, and there are other sense of meaning like clause in legal related, grammar related, newspaper related, and trainee related. Let's see what is it in clause in legal related. It is a separate clause or paragraph of a legal document or agreement, typically one outlining a single rule or regulation. It is an offense under Article 7 of the treaty. So basically it is a section or subsection or paragraph. In grammar, we have the definite and indefinite articles, and these three are considered to be articles, and a and an are indefinite, and definite is the. For example, the books, the movie, the Netherlands, the rich. A phone, a computer, a singer, an apple. And newspaper related, it is an essay or a report or a story or a write-up, because a piece of writing included with others in a newspaper, magazine or other publication is called an article. An article about middle-aged executives. A trainee related, in British, the bind, a trainee solicitor, an architect or a surveyor or accountant to undergo a period of training with a firm in order to become qualified is also called as an oracle. He was oracled to a firm of solicitors in York. So in British, a period of training with a firm as a solicitor, architect, surveyor or accountant. He is already in articles. My pronunciation was wrong. It is not solicitor, it's solicitor.
Solicitor.
Sully. Yes, you had solicitor. Solicitor. Solicitor is the correct pronunciation. I was telling a solicitor. It's wrong. A solicitor is a member of the legal profession qualified to deal with conveyancing, the drawing up of wills and other legal matters. A solicitor may also instruct barristers or the lawyers and represent clients in some courts. In North America, basically, solicitor is a lawyer. North America, a person who tries to obtain business orders, advertising, etc. Canvasser, okay. She had been a telephone solicitor for a Chicago newspaper. So basically, the difference between a lawyer and a solicitor is the simplest. Solicitor is also a legal professional who works in litigation or bringing of a case to court. If you have contracted a lawyer to handle your case, for instance, they will usually be a solicitor. If you have contacted a lawyer to handle your case, for instance, they will usually be a solicitor. But the term solicitor is not common. Most refer to themselves as lawyers. A solicitor is a lawyer that provides legal advice to clients in one or more areas of law. The next word is articulate. Articulate in verb, and it is articulate in adjective. Articulate in verb and articulate in adjective. Basically, pronounce something clearly and distinctly. He articulated each word with precision, having or showing the ability to speak fluently and coherently. She was not very articulate. So basically, it is express or voice or give voice to very clearly. Okay, express an idea or feeling fluently and coherently. They were unable to articulate their emotions. So eloquent is the other word. Fluent, communicative, or persuasive could be the other. Silver-tongued, vocal could be the other meanings for articulate. And it is also related to plant related. Technically, having joints or jointed segments. Delicate articulate plants with a slender central system. Articulate plants means having joints. In zoology also, be connected by joints is called articulate. The wing is articulated to the thorax. Thorax is nothing but the part of the body of a mammal between the neck and the abdomen, including the cavity enclosed by the ribs, breastbone and dorsal vertebrate, and containing the chief organs of circulation and respiration, the chest. Okay, that part is called as the thorax. The correct pronunciation is thorax, not thorax, it's thorax. Or it is form a joint. The mandible is a solid piece articulating with the head. Mandible is nothing but the jaw or the jawbone, especially the lower jawbone in mammals and fishes. Either the upper and the lower part of a bird's beak, or either half of the crushing organ in the arthropods, mouth parts, are all made of mandibles. Or it also denoting the fleas and shrimps, which has projections and sockets that form a hinge joining the two halves of the shell. The next is artifact. An R is silent. Artifacts in British. Artifacts. I was reading it as artifacts, like aniseed, but it is artifacts, aniseeds, artifacts. It has got two spellings, A-R-T-I-F, fact, or A-R-T-E and fact. Objects made by a human being, typically one of cultural or historical interest. Gold and silver artifacts or it could be something observed in a scientific investigation or experiment that is not naturally present but occurs as a result of the preparative or investigative procedures. Or it could be the curvature of the surface is an artifact of the wide-angle view. No, this is a sentence. The curvature of the surface is an artifact of the wide-angle view. Here, this is something observed in the investigation procedure. An object produced or shaped by human workmanship. How do you like the artifact I made out of your golf clubs? So it is an artifact, something made or given shape by humans, such as a tool or a work of art, especially an object of archaeological interest. In archaeology, the word has become a term of particular nuance and is like, so these are kind of artifacts, the statues and other stuffs of the historical importance. These also are artifacts. It shows the skillful of the workmanship. I would wrongly pronounce this as artifice, but this is artifice and artificer. Okay, R is silent in British, artifice and artificer. So just like artful, it has also got two meaning. One is the craft and the other is the slyness or deceiving thing. Okay, the clever or cunning devices or especially as used to trick or deceive others. An industry dominated by artifice or so, a trickery. So the enemy is using a new artifice. So it's like a trick, new trick. But artificer is not trickster, it is just a skilled mechanic in the armed forces. Archaically, it is a craftsman or inventor, skilled craftsman or inventor. Next word is artificial. An R is silent, artificial, not official, artificial. When I say she gave an artificial smile of a person or the behavior insincere or affected, or of a situation or concept or not existing naturally. False. The artificial division of people into age groups. In bridge card game, conventional as opposed to natural. The Italian team began with an artificial club. Like it is forced and it is not natural, made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something natural. Her skin glowed in the artificial light. Even the intelligence is artificial because artificial intelligence is the field of computer science that is associated with the concept of machines thinking like humans to perform tasks such as learning, problem solving, planning, reasoning, and identifying patterns. This word is artillery, and artillery is nothing but military detachment or branch of armed forces that uses large caliber guns. Each corps included 2 regiments of field artillery. Artillery is large caliber guns used in warfare on land. Okay, tanks and heavy artillery. Okay, big guns. The tanks are also called artilleries. Next is artisan. R is silent and artisan. Okay, Zen is American. Artisan is British. I choose artisan. Artisan is a worker in a skilled trade, especially one that involves making things by hand. Basically, a craftsman or craftswoman or craftsperson or skilled worker, a street market where local artisans display hand-woven textiles, painted ceramics, and leather goods. Sometimes it is also food-related or foods and drink made in a traditional or non-mechanized way using high quantity ingredients. Britain's artisan cheeses, which means they were handmade. The next word is artist in American and an artist in British. It is a person skilled at a particular task or occupation. A surgeon who is an artist with a scalpel. Or a person who creates paintings or drawings as a professional hobby. A person who practices or performs any of the creative arts such as a sculptor, filmmaker, actor or dancer. Basically a creator or originator, designer, expert, anything can be called as artist, and informally it is a person who habitually practices a specified reprehensible activity. Rip-off artists. Here reprehensible is making interest or significant information known, especially of a personal nature. Revealing radio interview. Reprehensible is disrespectful. A rip-off artist is he rips off the clothes kind of things and dances. What I just said now is artist. The next word is artiste, because it is ending with e, and e sound happens here. Artiste in American and R is silent. Artiste in British. Artiste is a professional entertainer, especially a singer or dancer. A cabaret artist. An entertainer, a performer, showman. Artist is also called as artiste, especially for dancers and entertainers, dancers or singers. An artist paints, draws, sculpts, makes a film, or is skilled with something involving perception and the use of their hands, because writing used to be done by longhand. Writers and poets are also known as artists. An artiste is a professional entertainer, especially a singer or dancer. When I say artistic, it is aesthetically pleasing. Computer programs which produce artistic designs, and there is artistic software like Adobe Photoshop is an artistic software. Having or revealing natural creative skills, my lack of artistic ability, or relating to our characteristic of art or artists, a denial of artistic freedom. So basically artistic is subtle, expressive, subtle and exquisite, expressive. Okay, Balinese people are noted for their artistic dances. That was so artistically done. An artistry is creative skills or ability, the artistry of the pianist. Artistry is also literature, has an aesthetic appeal and thus aesthetic or aesthetic appeal and thus possesses a sense of beauty. The next word artless is without effort or very simple, natural and simple. An artless literary masterpiece. Without any deception, an artless naive girl. Without skill or finesse, finesse. Her awkward, artless prose. Artful people are full of crap and unfortunately the world is full of them. Artless people are unfortunately much less common in this world. Artless also means having or displaying no or deceit, honest or sincere, an artless child. Free of artificiality, natural, artless charm. An artless remark, which means free from any kind of, deceit. Artless elegance, which means natural, without any artifice. Illustrations, photographs and other photographs or other non-textual material prepared for inclusion in a publication is artwork, basically painting. Technology can produce finished artwork for anything from press ads to corporate brochures, paintings, drawings or other artistic works. So basically artwork is paintings. The next word arty or artsy, arty or artsy, informally making a strong, affected or pretentious display of being artistic or interested in the arts. Television people are arty types. So arty here means very affected with display of artistic interest in the arts. She's an artsy girl.